The Super Bowl 58 recap edition of the NFL Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, a sports betting research platform for parlays, props, game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use that code SGPN for your first month and start making smarter bets today.
I'm just about that action, boss.
You have to be kidding me. That is impossible.
I'm raising the ante. Anybody wants any deal?
He is Houdini.
Jordan Davis, dog. Jalen Hurts, dog. AJ Brown, dog. How many people want to eat a W tonight?
And welcome, everybody, to the NFL Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Monday, February the 12th, Super Bowl's over, and we're all depressed because, well, we don't have football for 6 months. Well, we don't have NFL and college football. We do have UFL. Go subscribe. J-Mark will be on there this spring, so we do have spring football coming up. I can't wait to dive into that once March Madness is over. But hey, if you're wondering who you're listening to on the NFL Gambling Podcast, I am Moneyline Mac. He is J-Mark Football, a.k.a. Old Fashioned Football. What a game, man. What a game. I mean, that game did not disappoint. Arguably the best Super Bowl of our lifetime.
Yeah, no, it was a hell of a game. I kind of told you beforehand. I heard a lot of people complaining like, oh, two best teams. This should be in the 30s for scoring on both sides, blah, blah, blah. I thought it was a great fucking game. I loved the defensive battle, the grinding it out, fighting for the hard yards. I mean, it was entertaining to watch as a football fan. I think if you were disappointed, I mean, obviously, if you're a Niners fan, you have to be disappointed. But if you were disappointed in the gameplay, I don't think you're a true football fan because that was a hell of a football game.
Yeah, I don't get people that every now and then. I'm not saying you have to. I mean, you know me. If I had it my way, every game would be 9-6 or 13-10. I love that brand of football. I understand there is a crowd that likes scoring, but if you can't appreciate every now and then a field position struggle, it's hard to get a first down. It's hard to put drives together. Then, like you said, you're not a football fan because it's refreshing to actually watch defense in the year 2000. What are we in now? 2024, I guess. I know it's the 2023 season, but we don't see a lot of defense anymore. All we do, and if there is defense, there's usually defensive holding or helmet to helmet and all these bullshit rules. From a penalty yardage standpoint, too, I'm pulling up stats right now. I mean, each team with 5 quarters, because they literally played 5 quarters minus 3 seconds. Each team had 55 and 40 yards of penalty yardage. That's pretty good considering they played 75 minutes of football. So like you said, man, that was just a quality back and forth game between two really good teams, and ultimately maybe the greatest quarterback of all time in the future here. We'll talk about where his legacy stands. And the best coach in the game just found a way to outlast the Niners. I mean, I felt like the Niners didn't lose the game. The Chiefs found a way to win once again.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to somebody, I won't name their name, Nick Fortune, big 49ers fan, and he mentioned about how the Chiefs just got so lucky because they had kind of a down season, which in reality, if you look at their record and they ended up still being the number 3 seed, wasn't really a down season. It just wasn't what we expected from that. But he said, there he is. He said they got lucky. And I said, I don't think it was luck. I think that we were watching I mean, it's easily the best quarterback and coach combo that's playing right now, easily. And they're going to go down in history as, I mean, you're going to hear people argue, but one of the best, if not the best. I mean, you can't count them out of anything, whether they're 500 at midseason or down by 2 touchdowns. It doesn't matter. You can't count Mahomes out with Andy, especially with Andy Reid as his coach.
You hit the nail right on the head, man. It's It's incredible. And you mentioned it, man. They were what, 9-6 after that Raider loss. They had lost 4 out of 6 out of that bye week. We talked about it leading up to the journey that got them there. They lost to the Eagles in that Monday night game. Dropped the big pass. Was it Scantling that dropped the pass too? I think it was Scantling who had the big touchdown in the Super Bowl. They lost at Green Bay. I know you wanted to jump off a cliff when Green Bay beat Kansas City. And then they lost to Buffalo when Tony was offside. And then their final game, the final wake-up call was that Christmas Day game against Vegas where they just completely did not show up and kind of got punked. But, dude, I just – they're so good. They just find ways to win. And for them to lose or trade Tyreek Hill the way that they did 2 years ago and say, we can't pay him. Let's get all these assets back. Let's invest in our defense. Mahomes, you're going to have to be more like Brady in terms of dink, dunk, more of a magician with the football rather than just let's see if we can beat everybody over the top with Tyreek Hill. And they've gotten better. They're better without Tyreek Hill. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's a better team. Their offense isn't better probably, but whenever they need a hard play, a hard couple yards, they find a way, whether it's Mahomes' legs, Pacheco is big time. Somehow Travis Kelce's always open with the game on the line. It's remarkable. And I think it speaks to how good a coach Andy Reid is, like you said. And I'm not saying they're better than Brady and Belichick yet. They still Brady and Belichick at 6. So, but for Mahomes at age 28, this is by far the best start to a career, best under 30 career we've ever seen. And it's not even close. I mean, no, you're not supposed to do this early in your career. Brady wasn't that good until he was about 30. And then he really it was rep after rep after rep. He got better and better. It's scary to think how good Mahomes can be in his 30s, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. He does one of the things Brady was never really much of a scrambler. Yeah. Mahomes will scramble some, so it'll be interesting to see if those hits from that kind of start piling up. Now, he is pretty good at sliding, but you're still going to get hit sometimes. It'll be interesting to see if he holds up as well, being a more mobile quarterback. But, yeah, I mean, he's something to watch. He certainly is. I was at the in-laws watching the game, and I think it was right after Mahomes got pancaked or something. Yeah. My father-in-law said, now he's mad. Now is when you're going to be now is when you should be scared if you're rooting for the 49ers, because he's pissed off. He's going to start just flinging it sideways. And it's true. It's like he gets mad and he just gets in the zone. And when he is there, there's nobody better on the field. And I was reminded multiple times from texts from people that the Bears could have drafted him and took Mitch Trubisky instead. Fuck you guys.
Well, in fairness to you, J. Mark, if he went to the Bears, he would not beat Patrick Mahomes. Like he would obviously
agreed.
Mahomes, but the part of the reason why he's so great is because he's got Andy Reid and just the way his role within that offense. So,
but I fucking hate that Matt Nagy got his ring there again.
Dude, Nagy's great in Kansas City, just terrible head coach.
Yeah.
Real quick, let's get paid, and then we'll dive into the box score and just talk about what it means going forward. But we're brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play alongside your favorite fantasy players all season long. NBA, NHL, college hoops. Pick higher, lower fantasy stats and cash in with 100 times with some spicy payouts. J. Mark, I know there's no NFL games to dive into. You got anything queued up on Underdog Fantasy, or are you just waiting for the UFL market to open up here soon?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't dove into any NBA or college basketball stuff. I hope they get UFL on there. But one of the great things will be, I mean, now's when you can jump into getting your best ball drafts. Some people are going to say it's too early. It's never too early. Get in there and do a best ball draft.
Yeah. You know, it's draft season. Get over there, get some best ball. Underdog Fantasy, place to go. Play along, make your picks, maybe make a little bit of cash over on Underdog's mobile website at underdogfantasy.com. And that's promo code SGPN for a first deposit up to $100. All righty, we're back. So let's just dive into it. Kind of just a quick recap, scoring recap of the game. Scoreless first quarter. Like you said, it was a defensive battle. Then San Francisco was able to open it up 3-0. Then they even went up 10-0 on the trick play, the pass from Jennings over there to McCaffrey. So it was 10-0. Kansas City was able to claw back in at the 10-3 at half. Bucker makes a big time field goal, 10-6. Then you had the muff punt that set up a Valdez-Scantling touchdown, 13-10 as we headed into the fourth quarter. This was a big answer by San Francisco and Purdy when they went right back and made it 16-13, but they got the PAT block that was crucial and came back.
A big part of it.
Yep, and Bucker tied it back up, 16 all, and then they exchanged field goals, including a Bucker field goal at the horn, where Romo said, "It can't end like this, right?" He's brutal sometimes, man. San Francisco was able to get on top 22-19. And then, of course, the masterful drive by Mahomes, 13 plays, 75 yards, iced the game out. Any initial thoughts just back to the game, just with how it played out? I mean, I feel like them not getting that first down at the end of regulation, when if they had got that first down, Mahomes would have never touched the ball, or them not scoring a touchdown and giving the ball back to Mahomes. You gotta find a way to get that done against Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Yeah. In credit to the Chiefs, they did a good job at limiting Christian McCaffrey's runs so that San Francisco couldn't just grind the clock over and over. But yeah, there were just some crucial things like the blocked PAT, and just some big things that it just set the tone for the Chiefs to be able to make that comeback. Pacheco, I felt like, tried to give the game away. I mean, he had that fumble, he had some drop passes. Yeah. I was like, he's trying to give this to him. But yeah, I don't know. It would have been interesting for me. So let me ask you, if 49ers would have won, is Juwan Jennings the MVP?
I was thinking about it. I mean, he threw a touchdown. He caught a touchdown. It probably would have mattered how, like, if they got the ball back. I think because, if it had been 22-all and Purdy leads another drive and he ends up with 300 yards and then another touchdown, or McCaffrey breaks off a run and goes for $120, I feel like McCaffrey would have got it. But I mean, you could have made the argument for Jennings. How many sacks did Bosa? Bosa didn't have a sack. I thought Bosa was awesome. I mean, he was living in the backfield.
You didn't think Chase Young was awesome?
He did have a sack. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. He hasn't done anything, and then he gets one in the Super Bowl, and everybody thinks he's good again. No, he was nowhere. Goldilocks was nowhere to be found the whole second half when they had the lead and needed somebody to get home. But I was just amazed at the resiliency of the Chiefs, man. Mm-hmm. Like you said, mistakes. Mahomes throws a pick. Pacheco with the fumble in the red zone. Travis Kelce trying to fucking chest bump Andy Reid. I don't know what the fuck that was about. I was like, Andy Reid, you should fucking punch his ass.
I agree. Uncalled. Yeah. I mean, I don't care who you are. I don't think you should ever be pushing on your coach like that. And if you're going to sit your ass on the bench, like, I get he was pissed because they pulled him out on that play because it was a run play. He's not that great of a run blocker. Of course you're going to come off the field. Yeah. I mean, I don't. That was funny. It's like, quit throwing your fit. I agree with Nick here. Brock Purdy, not just a game manager. I was really impressed. At no point did he look like this moment was too big for him.
Agreed.
He did really well. The fourth down conversion, even some third down ones. Like, he didn't look rattled. He didn't look like there was too much pressure. He did a really good job.
What do you make of Shanahan's decision to take the ball, start overtime?
It's interesting. I'm seeing all this stuff come out. Maybe it's media driven. The 49ers players saying we didn't know about this new overtime rule and everything. And all the Chiefs players are like, yeah, we talked about it all season. So it's just kind of interesting if that's true. That's a major coaching myth. Yeah, I don't know. I think you don't give Mahomes and Andy Reid and Matt Nagy time to script that whole drive after they have after they're sitting on the sidelines, while the Niners have the ball. I think you go on defense and you don't give them that time. What do
Yeah,
you think?
I probably would have kicked it. The
Yeah.
only concern, and Romo did make a good point with this, is their defense had been a little bit gassed headed into overtime. They had just given up that long drive, so it would have been literally back to back.
True.
I thought Shanahan sucked out of the half. For some reason, when he gets a lead in the Super Bowl, he won't run the ball. I don't understand, and he gets there by running the ball, and they got pass happy again. But I don't know. I could see both sides of it. If he received just because he didn't know the rule, then that's an issue. But if his strategy was, we just gave up a tough drive to end regulation, I feel like if I put my defense back out here right away, Mahomes is just going to go down and carve us up. Obviously, he ended up doing that in the end, but it was more hard earned. Like they had to convert a fourth down. They had to convert a 3rd and 6 as well.
Yeah.
So if that was the logic, I can understand that, but I thought the decision to go for it on 4th and 3 was reckless. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I know it worked, and
Right.
I had Dan Campbell vibes. I was like, "You've got to be shitting me. Are you really going for this?"
I thought the same ththing.
Yeah, and the analytics crowd got bailed out there because it was this close. Because if they give the ball back to Mahomes, because they could have tied it up. If they give the ball back to Mahomes down 3, the game's probably over right there if they don't get the 4th and 3. Of course, they get the extra point block too, but I don't know, man. This is this topped the first Super Bowl these two teams played, and that was a great Super Bowl.
Agreed. Yeah. No, it was definitely fun to watch. Well, since we talked exotic section novelty props, I just want to touch on the fact that I thought the halftime show was the worst piece of garbage I've probably ever seen. So luckily the football game was good. Like I had already said on our show, I'm not an Usher guy. I don't listen to Usher, but regardless, that was not an energetic type Super Bowl performance, in my opinion. Do you agree? Am I off base here? Like I was like, this
Yeah.
isn't even sounding exciting.
I
don't know.
honestly, I hate all that crap. I like it, I think it's crap. It pisses me off that we have to wait like a half hour every single year for the goddamn second half to start. It's like,
Right.
hello, can we play the football game? Like this still is the NFL. This still is whoever executes better in between the hedges is going to come out on top. Like why is there a stage? Why is this guy taking his shirt off? Why is he dry humping this chick, Alicia Keys, or what's going on? Like, why is he on rollerblades now? What's like? Come on, like, let's get back to the football game. Let's talk about Mahomes versus the defense. I don't need to see this crap. If I want to watch that, I'll go to TMZ. I'm with you.
Yeah. I've upset Serial. Sorry, Serial. I just did not like it. I think if every song had been like the one he ended with, where it was higher energy, it would have been fine. But so many of those songs, like just the R&B, slower R&B vibe, just wasn't fitting for the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
But
there's
that's
enough
just me.
TMZ. There's enough TMZ in that game, especially with the Swifties. So I could have done with that. I'm with you. I could have done without the halftime. What were you saying?
Juke wants to know, what did you think of the ads?
What commercials?
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't really pay much attention. I never pay attention to that stuff. I that's why I hate the Super Bowl. I don't get into that shit. I just want to watch the
sitting there
football
like,
game.
get back to football.
Yeah, especially because I had the Chiefs money line, and I'm like, God damn, this is gonna be a sweat. Like, why can't the Chiefs ever just blow somebody out? And
Yeah.
how about the under? The under almost did not hit in
know.
midway through the first half. I'm like, oh my god, the under's a lot. The under was the lock of the season. This shit,
Right.
this shit ain't even gonna be close. And then I'm doing a scenario in my head when it's 19-19. I go, oh no, this could go over and the Niners could win. So I could literally get swept on this board when 10 minutes ago I was like, oh, I'm going to sweep the Chiefs and the under. So, because there was a scenario where if it was 19-19, I get another field goal, 22-22, and then the Niners go down and get a touchdown, 28-22, and I would have just probably not shown up to the show today because that would have been the worst beat ever if the under had lost. That would have been brutal. Oh,
Agreed.
yeah.
Just got the under there. I mean, I was on the over just because I was sticking with my 31-21 that Oz the Mentalist. Now, the funny thing about that, full circle, the fact that Mecole Hardman caught the touchdown to win the game, and he's the one that was on Hard Knocks. So, I mean, he knew something at least. He knew something.
He did know something. I'll tell you who else knows something, and that is Hall of Fame bets, because you can win bigger by betting. Well, maybe smarter next NFL season with Hall of Fame bets. This sports betting analytics platform for parlays, props, game lines, research all NFL, NBA, soccer with historical data and stats. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame bets. Supercraft, a more intelligent, data-driven parlay. Download the Hall of Fame bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame bets. All righty. Yeah, so I went on the graphic. I went 2-1. I can't believe Kelsey didn't get a touchdown. I'm actually shocked.
Agreed.
I thought he was going to catch the game-winning touchdown. I was like, oh my god, this thing is so scripted. Or what if he had caught the one at the end of regulation with Warner on his back, like the back shoulder, and then Romo's like, they can take another shot at the end zone. I go, Romo, you're freaking drunk. There's 6 seconds left. What'd you think of Tony last night? He's all over the place, man.
He is. I was surprised that he somebody must have told him not to say Jim as much, because he didn't say it as much as he usually does. Yeah. So that was interesting. No, he was all over the place. Jim calling Tony Tone always makes me laugh for some reason. What'd you think of that, Tone? And I was also really surprised, pleasantly surprised, but despite the camera showing Taylor Swift a lot of times, I don't think they ever said her name during the actual game. I think they said it before, they said it after, but during the game, they may have said it once or twice, but they weren't talking about her every time the camera panned to her. I was really happy about that. I was like, thank you. Let's just talk about football.
Shout out to her for chugging the beer, though. That was, she earned some points with me. I was like, all right. Well done. I like it.
Did you see? Have to stop to take a breath. I was like, really? Come on.
Did you see Jason Kelsey's overall outfit?
I did. And his wife in her Cincinnati Bearcats. She wouldn't wear Chiefs gear.
Good. I like it. I like the Kelseys. This shit's funny. Rob's in the chat. Tony did seem drunk by the end of the game. Tony's betting on the games, by the way. I swear to God, because he comes into every game with an agenda of how it's going to play out, and he sticks to that, even if he's like, I think it's going to be low scoring. It's like, oh, Tony's got the under. I'm on to Tony. Tony's definitely betting on the games he calls. Yeah,
I wonder what the rule is for announcers.
It's a good question. They can't impact the game. Why can't they bet?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. The more and more sports betting is so mainstream. I mean, you throw it on, everybody's picking the spread on the panel. And JJ Watt goes, if I knew who was going to win, I'd go in the casino right now and cash a bet. I was like, JJ, you're a fucking talking head. You got to give a fucking prediction. So let's talk Chiefs and Mahomes. Though we agree they're not done. Obviously, they're not just going to stay at 3. How many do you think they end up winning in the Mahomes era? Do they get to 6?
I think it's got to be very, very possible, because, I mean, if you look at their team now, the offense has some pieces with Travis Kelce. I'm really curious to see, like, if he retires, what that does with Mahomes. But I feel like besides him, that offense it can only get better everywhere else besides Mahomes. Your receivers can get better. Your running back, Pacheco was pretty good all year, but he had some moments where he was blowing it in the Super Bowl. I think he can get better there. Their line was banged up. I mean, with Tooney going out.
Yeah.
And then the defense, I think they have enough guys in there that are on contract that it's going to stay good. So it's hard to see them regressing any. So I think they can get to 6, probably quicker than we want to admit.
Yeah.
Because I'm already like a little tired of like, okay, let's get somebody new in there. Same with Brady. It was like, let's get somebody new winning it.
Yeah.
But I just don't see it. I mean, how are they not the favorites? The Niners are the favorites right now for a Super Bowl next year. And no offense to the Niners, but how are the Chiefs not the favorites?
Yeah. They won 3 out of 5.
I don't get it.
And the other thing, and this was the case with the Patriots, was when you're always in it, you're always in the hunt, you're always in the AFC title game or in the Super Bowl, you keep getting there, you're gonna win a couple. So I mean, they may lose in the Super Bowl next year. They may lose in the AFC title game to, I don't know, Josh Allen, a Joe Burrow, Lamar, Herbert. If the Chargers get it figured out with Harbaugh, we know they're going to be in the hunt. And they just keep knocking on the door. They're gonna win a couple more as long as he stays healthy. And I don't think Andy Reid's going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think he's thinking, I have a chance to cement myself as the greatest coach of all time by the end of this run. Because I was able to win in Philly, go to take that franchise to Super Bowl, now I come over to Kansas City, and maybe I win 5 or 6 Super Bowls. It's hard to win, obviously, but like you said, man, if they just keep knocking on the door, they're by default just gonna win a couple because they have the best coach and best quarterback. And I was watching Chris Jones's post game interview, and he said, it's really important that they bring me back, Kelsey back, Mahomes back, because our culture's so good where we just bring young guys in and it's next man up. It's just like Pacheco. Pacheco came out of nowhere. Now he's a superstar, and he'll be on pace to get paid here in 2 years. And then probably we'll go somewhere else, and then they'll bring in the next Pacheco. And they just have a really good deal right now where they pay 3 to 4 guys really good money. They have the best offensive mind coach, and they have the best defensive coordinator too in Spagnuolo. So they got their culture's just so damn good.
Yeah. I agree. And we know Mahomes isn't going anywhere. He signed that 8-10 year contract or whatever it was. I mean, he's there. The biggest thing for me is what does Travis Kelce do? I mean, there were the retirement rumors. We saw him slow down some, but they can't replace him. I don't think there's going to be a tight end that replaces him for a while anyways, but I don't know if it matters. Mahomes is so good. He just is. No matter who he's throwing to, he makes them better, and I don't know if it matters.
Yeah, I obviously they would miss him. Well, he said he's coming back after the game. He already dismissed retirement this year, I guess, but I don't know. It's either the moment as well. But like you said, we said the same shit when they lost Tyreek Hill. They're like, I don't know how they're going to replace that deep threat, and they just completely revamped their whole offense. So, yeah, I mean, I think you and I agree they both should be the favorite again next year. I kind of think they're going to three-peat because they got this thing – they got this weird thing where they got a big time chip on their shoulder still. They think everybody's down them. They think they're taking it personal that they want to dethrone the Patriots as the greatest dynasty, in my opinion.
Man, they take it personal that they were freaking underdogs in this Super Bowl.
I took it personal. I said, all right. I learned my lesson in that fucking Bills game. I said, I'm not going against this fucking coach and QB combo ever again.
Yeah.
Not a chance. I said, if you're going to give me them as a dog, sign me up. If I lose with the best. So good win for us. Good handicap. I thought we handicapped the game exactly the way it was going to fucking play out. Hard fought, not a shootout. Any final thoughts on the Niners headed into next year? I mean, Purdy will be back. They got a lot of guys that they got to figure out contract situations.
That's what I was going to say. I'm a little worried about them being able to just get right back to the NFC Championship and right back to the Super Bowl because they do have a lot of potential turnover. But again, Andy Reid or Kyle Shanahan is not Andy Reid, but he's a very well-minded coach as far as the system works. You can put plug and play a lot of different positions, and the system still works. So I think they'll be all right, but I am a little worried about that turnover.
I am too. Yeah,
Especially with the Bears up and coming. I mean,
yeah. I was gonna say, I mean, his Skins and Bears. You better watch it on the NFC next year.
that's right. At least one of our teams will probably have Caleb Williams, whether it's mine or yours.
Well, real quick, I did put out a tweet about Caleb Williams last night. I'm sure Caleb Williams is a great talent, but I do not want to hear one fucking analyst compare that guy to Patrick Mahomes. Like that is banned. He cannot hold his jockstrap right now. Like I understand he's got potential, but nobody should ever be compared to this guy, and nobody should ever be compared to Tom Brady either, unless you earn it. Not just because you put up big stats in college. So I'm with you.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I want him, to be honest. I kind of want Drake May.
I know for sure I don't, but I keep hearing Patrick Mahomes is Caleb Williams' ceiling. It's like that's everybody's ceiling, isn't it? I mean, that's about as high as you can get right now.
Yeah, the target man is Patrick Mahomes. People just fucking throw shit at the wall. That is not a compare. He was fucking crying in the stands. Nobody crying in the stands is gonna be fucking Patrick Mahomes. Get out of here with that. Yeah, it'll be interesting, man. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Go check out last week's episode. We already dove into some futures. Any other teams you want to add? I mean, we liked potentially the Cincinnati bounce back angle.
Mm-hmm.
We liked Buffalo again, even though we know that they somehow will choke in the playoffs. Who do we like in the NFC? The Bears?
Yeah, the Bears, of course. I don't know. You threw out some sort of Packers slander. I remember that.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Got that written down here. I'm not forgetting.
You keep receipts over there?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to see the Lions regressing much. I think they have a very feisty team and a feisty coach, and a coach that they love playing for. So they might be back in the hunt there. I don't think the Eagles will. Honestly, I mean, if rumors are true, 5 teams have called the Bears about the number 1 pick. The Eagles were one of them. So that's really interesting to me. Maybe they also think it's Jalen Prescott.
Yeah, maybe I really was ahead of this curve. It wouldn't be the first time that they've moved on from a quarterback that everybody kind of crowned early. I mean, they remember Wentz was the MVP until he blew out his knee, and then they moved right on to Hurts. Maybe I don't know if they're going to move on. Rob likes the Broncos. Broncos are going to be interesting. Year 2 of the Payton era. Can't wait for everybody to talk themselves into the Saints in the preseason like we do every year. This could be the year for Dennis Allen and Derek Carr. Yeah, I mean, that division sucks again.
Yeah, it does. And Bill Belichick couldn't find his way into it somehow. I don't understand.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. The Jaguars, what happens with the Jaguars? Well, I kind of like the Jags as a nice little bounce back candidate next year. A lot of hype this year from last year. Settle in, get healthy with Lawrence. But I mean, what happens with the Dolphins? The Dolphins do they just continue to beat bad teams and never ever win a hard game? I mean, Cowboys,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, Cowgirls just remain fucking choke artists. It's going to be interesting. It really is, and I can't wait to preview it every step of the way in this offseason. We got the draft here in 2.5 months. It'll be here before we know it, and then, well, we got
free agency is like a month away.
Yeah, 5.5 months till NFL. Yeah, it is. So it'll be here. It'll fly by, especially with college basketball getting us through, and then the UFL. So, What do you guys got going on over at the Old Fashioned Football?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking fantasy football all off season, getting you ready for next year. Talking about the rookies that are up and coming. We got Balcones Distillery out of Texas on tomorrow. And then next week, speaking of the Broncos there, the official whiskey of the Broncos, Breckenridge, will be on the 21st. We already recorded with Brian Knoll ahead of time. But That was a really good one. So make sure you check those out. And we're going to keep having distillers on and talking fantasy football.
Get over there, subscribe, baby. Cyril makes a good point. If the Eagles don't win it, there has not been a repeat NFC East champion since 2004. We know Dallas ain't going to win it because you can't win back-to-back, and we don't think Philly's going to win it. So you're
So the
saying
Giants.
no. Get the Giants out of here. So you say there's a chance. They pulled me right back in. Yeah, can't wait, man. Thank you, everybody, all season long over at the NFL Gambling Podcast. It's been a thrill. We're not going anywhere. Obviously, we're gonna do the off-season deal over the next couple of weeks, talk some draft. But like you said, it's not the same as picking every single game, ATS and over-unders and et cetera. So appreciate you guys rocking with us all year. Can't wait to see what this turns into next year when we take this thing to another level. I am Moneyline Mac. He is J Mark Football, a.k.a. Old Fashioned Football. Subscribe to the NFL Gambling Podcast. Subscribe to the Sports Gambling Podcast. Subscribe to all the channels. You guys have been the absolute best. And we'll see you later. And don't forget to let it ride.